Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and welcome to another episode of Alphabet Escapades. So I didn't do one of these last month. I came out ahead and I just thought that I would just skip it and do my big reading vlog instead, which was reading some of the oldest books on my TBR finally, and got through 10 of those books. So we're back because I did have a big haul in May. So the way that this works, if you have not been here before, this is my version of a TBR tackle. So I take the number of books I haul in the month minus the number of books that I've finished in the month, and whatever the difference is, I make myself read that amount of books, and I choose a letter randomly for an author's last name, and we read books from that letter. So the way that I do this is with the spinner wheel, and so that's what we're going to find out today, what books I will be reading. So the number of books that I hauled in the month of May is actually 17, which is insane. This is going to be a great book haul month, and that will be to come probably after this video. But I haven't scheduled that, I haven't thought that far out yet with my planning, at least not in my head. It might be on paper, but it's not in my head yet. Either way, we are going to have a heck of a book haul this month, and so I hauled 17 books. However, to balance that, thanks to all the audiobooks that I have started to listen to, I have made it through, as of this morning, it is May 26th. As of this morning, I have gotten through 13 books this month, which is my highest number so far this year. And so that means that we will be reading 4 books for this video. I have a few that I'm working on right now. I am currently reading Inkheart. I am currently reading A Blood as Bright as the Moon. And so I have some that I'm in the process of reading. I'm like 50 pages into Operation Bounce House, and I haven't picked it up in a couple of weeks. But either way, we're not going to count those. We're just going to go with the number 4, and we're going to call that good. We're going to use that as our jumping off point. So the total number of books that I have on my TBR as of right this minute, it is 232, as long as I updated everything correctly. I've been flying through those audiobooks so fast, there might be a couple that I've missed, but I'm trying to stay on top of it. So I have 232 books on my TBR. We need to read 4 books for this video, and I do have another episode of Which Comes First coming, so I'm in the middle of working on that right now. But that being said, since we have 4 books, let's figure out what letter we will be using for this episode. So let me get everything pulled up here. And I have said this before, but if you haven't been here, I will tell you right now that once I get a letter on the wheel, I hide it. So that way we don't get a bunch of duplicates and we're not reading the same ones over and over again. This way we can kind of change up our authors each time, and then I'll reset it once we are a little bit further along. So I don't know how many this is that's left, but there is a handful left. So we are just going to spin with what's left, and we're going to go from there. So what letter will we get this month? A. Okay, A. What do I have under A? Turn the brightness down so it doesn't wash me out so bad. And okay, so under A, we have 9 options. One of these I have actually DNF'd the last couple of days. So let me update that real quick. See, I told you I have all these books that I'm like going through, so some of them I might have skipped over. Okay, so we have 9 books under the letter A. So we have Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout, The Only Purple House in Town by Anna Guire, A Novelist from Berlin, and War Girls by V.S. Alexander, The Last Word by Taylor Adams, The Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri, The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, Bunny by Mona Awad, and The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. So automatically, I am not reading The Divine Comedy. It's not going to happen. That's one of my someday I'll get to this books. So we won't be reading that one. I would love to get to one of the V.S. Alexander books. He writes historical fiction, and the books that I've read from him in the past, the World War II historical fictions, and I've really enjoyed them. I think he's one of the better historical fiction authors that I've read from. But I feel like I've read a lot of those with my which comes first video. So I am leaning towards Bunny, obviously. The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. The Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and possibly either The Last Word or The Cheat Sheet. That's kind of what I'm thinking of right this moment for what is catching my eye right now. I have never read anything by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Taylor Adams, or Mona Awad, but I have read from Kelly Armstrong. She had a time travel book that I read the first book in the series a while back, and I never continued, but I did enjoy it. And then obviously The Cheat Sheet. I have read one book, Practice Makes Perfect, from Sarah Adams, and I really, really enjoyed that one. I think I could potentially get The Cheat Sheet on audio. Bunny, I think I want to read physically because I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow it, but I'm really excited to read it. After reading Julie Chan is Dead, I'm really, really excited to try out Bunny. So I do want to read Bunny in this video for sure. And then, like I said, The Haunting of Payne's Hollow, I'm always looking for some good horror. And so yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So once I figure out where I want to start, which is probably going to be Bunny, if we're being honest here, I will come back and give you guys an update on my first initial thoughts. And we'll see where this week takes us. I'm giving myself about a week and a half to read all 4 of these books. So I'm going to try and knock out as much as I can, as quick as I can. And that way I can get this video posted and ready to go. And I have my TBR coming up at the end of this week, so I need to get that filmed. And so yeah, we just have a handful of things in store that I'm really, really looking forward to. And so wish me luck with Bunny. I'm very, very nervous. I'm very excited for this book, but I'm extremely nervous. So wish me luck, and I will check back in with you later. Okay guys, so I said that I was going to start with Bunny, and I was really, really excited to try out Bunny by Mona Awad because I've heard such good things about it. My sister read it. She said it's totally a Mean Girls vibe and a fever dream. And so I was really intrigued, and I thought that with reading Julie Chan is Dead that I would, it made me more intrigued to start this one because this is a very culty book. I listened to the book in its entirety yesterday to the audiobook, and I'm glad that I did that because, for one, if I was reading this physically, with how incredibly repetitive it is with the way that these bunnies talk, I don't think I would have been able to do it if I was reading it physically. Also, the audiobook was very strange. The voices she gave the girls, I understand the reasoning behind it completely, but it was definitely an interesting audiobook. This book was weird. I will say that. I don't know what to think about this book. There were some things that I predicted with this. There were some things that I was expecting it to be because of knowing it was going to be culty. But there were a lot of things I didn't expect, and I don't really know what I think about it. So I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. I'm still pondering my thoughts on it. I'm still processing. So at this point, I'm giving this 3.5 stars. I don't think I would ever read it again. I didn't hate it, so that's something. But I don't know how much I liked it either. So this one was really, really kind of an oddball book, and I knew it would be. I knew that it would be. But I just have to kind of think on it for a little bit. Maybe talk to my sister about it a little bit more than just kind of a few oddball text messages this morning. But there were times that it cracked me up with the guys in this, things happening with the guys in this, that it made me laugh out loud and just kind of crack up. And so I enjoyed my time. It was definitely an interesting time for sure. But I just don't fully know what my thoughts are on this one yet. I did end up starting The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams this morning, just as kind of like a breather book. I'm gonna say after finishing Bunny. Bunny was so oddball and wild. I wanted something that was pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and so I thought the romance was going to be the way to go. I've wanted to try this book out for a really, really long time and see if I like it. I'm not usually one to go for sports romances. I don't care about football. But I wanted to try this author again. I read Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams a handful of years ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. And so I have officially started this one. I am on chapter 8, which is about 20% of the way through this right now. And so far this one is following Bree and Nathan. We're getting both perspectives. He is a professional football player. She was going to be a professional like ballerina. But then she got into a car accident and her knee was shattered, and now she is instead a ballet teacher. And they are best friends. Her and Nathan, they became best friends in high school, and then they kind of lost touch in college, and then they've come back together, and they are absolutely 100% best friends. And it just so happens that they are completely 100% in love with each other, and neither of them know it. So the point where I'm at now, they're both newly single, and Nathan is thinking, if I don't take this as an opportunity, I'm gonna lose out, and I may as well just say goodbye to the possibility of a relationship ever right now if I don't take this chance. She is scared to death that she's gonna lose her best friend. And so yeah, that's kind of where we're at with this. So far, I'm really enjoying their friendship, and just, it's really sweet. He actually kind of like secretly helps pay part of her rent for her ballet studio, so that way she doesn't have to struggle. She's trying to run a income-based ballet school, so it makes things tight for trying to make rent, because you know, not everybody has a lot of money to pay for ballet classes, and she wants to accommodate those people as well, so that way they have the opportunity to learn ballet and learn it right and learn it well, even though they may not have all the funds in order to do so. So far, I'm absolutely loving that fact of it. I think it's really, really sweet that she does this. She even told one of her girls who's 16, she said, I might not be able to come to class anymore because my dad just lost his job, and I have to be able to pay for the classes. And she tells the girl not to worry about paying for it until they're back on their feet. So I really, really like that fact in this. And I think this was definitely a good way to go for just kind of a like easy palate cleanser in between this, or in between Bunny and whatever my read is after this. I think this one's going to be really good. So far I'm really, really enjoying this. Like I said, I started this morning. I'm already like 60 pages into it. So I am going to go down, do chores and some running and pick up groceries and all that good stuff, but I will check back in with you when I have some updates on the cheat sheet, and then we'll go from there and figure out what I'm going to be reading next. So the last time I talked to you, I was reading the cheat sheet. I wasn't super far into it, but I was really, really enjoying this. I have since finished this book. I finished this the other day. It was so sweet. So this is the sports romance. He is an NFL player. She is a ballerina. She is a ballet teacher now because she was intending to go to Juilliard, and then she got into a car accident and her knee shattered, and so she wasn't able to continue on. But she is now a ballet teacher, and her best friend, he is in the NFL, and they are fantastic friends who are both in love with each other. Neither one of them wants to admit it because they're afraid that their friendship is going to fall apart. And then she gets drunk at one of the guys' birthday parties, one of the teammates' birthday parties, and makes a comment to a reporter. And things kind of spiral from there, and they have to fake date for the publicity of it. And they both decide that they're going to take it as an opportunity to try out dating each other and see how it goes, and kind of a just an opportunity to try it with like no fallout to their friendship and see if it would actually work, because they don't know that they're actually in love with each other. And this book is so sweet. This is dual POV from Nathan's perspective as well as Bree's perspective. So we get both sides of it. He has his teammates full of tough football players that are not really that like rough and tough. They're actually really sweet guys. and she ends up making this friend who is a makeup artist and hairstylist that it just happens to be like the gay best friend perspective. And I loved it. I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was really, really good. It was really sweet. This was exactly what I needed after Bunny. I thought after Bunny, I wanted a complete 180, just kind of a palette cleanser before I jumped into anything else. And that's exactly what this was. It was absolutely perfect to read after Bunny. And I'm so glad that I read it. Now I have moved on to The Haunting of Payne's Hollow. I started this last night. I read the first 4 or 5 chapters in it before I went to bed, and I have been reading it off and on all day today, and now I am on chapter 26. I'm almost 200 pages into this, so I am up to here now. And I am about 3/4 of the way through this book. This book is following Sam. Now, Sam, her father, when she was young, everybody believes that Sam found her father having murdered a boy and burying his body. And she catches him in the act of burying him. And a while later, her father kills himself. And now she is 26 and her grandfather has died. And he's never forgiven Sam for accusing her dad of murder, even though he believes wholeheartedly that it could never have been him. So when her grandfather dies, he says, I will leave you my 300 acres of Payne's Hollow, but the condition is that you have to live there for a month. You have to wear an ankle monitor, that you can only leave the property for 1 hour each day total, and that's it. You are there to remember the past. And now the point where I'm at, well, I'm not going to say everything with the point that I'm at, but she is at Payne's Hollow, and things are happening, and things are crazy, and she is hearing things, seeing things, unbelievable things. And it is so eerie. It is so spooky. It is creepy. It is weird. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but it's just, so far it's fantastic. So the whole thing with the Payne's Hollow is that it is basically 3 cabins and a shed that are on 300 acres by the lake. And her grandfather had somebody offer to buy it years and years ago, and they said that they would buy it for $10 million. So basically what happens is if she lives here for a month, she has the opportunity for a $10 million payout. She can make $10 million of this property. And her concern is that her mom has early onset Alzheimer's and is in a home. And she's in a really great home, however, Sam cannot afford it. So, not to mention the medications that they are trying to give her to try and help her. So she thinks a $10 million payout, she can help set up her mom for life and not have to worry about what's going to happen to her mom or having to worry about her mom having to move or anything like that. So she's staying in this house. Crazy things are happening. The caretaker for this place, I can't even tell you because that would spoil it, but I'm loving this. I am enjoying this. I have every belief that I will be finishing this book today, so that'll be 3 books down for this video out of 4, and I'm loving it. I'm so glad that I'm reading this. She has such a great way of putting the atmosphere, and this is like a perfect atmospheric summer camp type of cabin-y book by the lake, and it's just great. So I'm gonna go continue this, and I will talk to you guys later on. What's up, guys? So I am back because I just finished The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. I'm giving this 5 stars. So it didn't have the plot twists like some thrillers have that like totally shock you. Like with Silent Patient or some of the Riley Sager books that just really, really surprise you and throw you off. But the atmosphere and the campy cabin vibes in this were 100% perfect. The creepiness of it, the eeriness of it, the twists and turns, and there were things that happened that I wasn't expecting. It was just such a good time. I had so much fun with this book, and it was so good, and it was so readable, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm giving this one 5 stars. This is the first 5-star thriller. This is the first 5-star thriller that I have had in I don't even know how long and I absolutely loved it. It was such a good time. So really, really glad that I ended up picking this one up and not waiting any longer. I was originally going to get this one on audio, but it was going to be a few weeks before I was going to be able to get it, and so I just read it physically between yesterday and today, and I did. I flew through this book. It is not even 5 o'clock yet, and I'm already done with this, so really, really glad that I read this book. But now we are going to play some video games, and we'll have some supper here before too long, and I will start my next book. And the last one I'm thinking about picking up is The Only Purple House in Town by Anna Guire. That one is a cozy fantasy. I was originally thinking of listening to The Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout, but I did not like the audiobook for that one when I started listening to it. So I'm not sure if I'll continue with that or not. But that's kind of what we're thinking about right now. So I have that I could choose from. I could read The Only Purple House in Town, The Fall of Ruin and Wrath, or The Last Word by Taylor Adams, which that one is a girl writes a really, really bad review on a book, and then that author starts to stalk her to change her review. So I've heard such good things about that one, and I wanted to try that one out at some point, and I just haven't yet. So I'm gonna decide for sure which one I want to pick up next, and I will update you guys when I have more to say. So I will talk to you guys later. But if you like paranormal thrillers that are just kind of creepy and atmospheric and have that kind of campy cabin, lakeside vibes, I would highly, highly recommend The Haunting of Payne's Hollow. I already texted my dad and told him that I have another book for him to read because this one was just so, so good. It's not very long. It's less than 300 pages, and I had a great time. So anyways, I'm going to get to it. We're going to play some video games, and I will talk to you guys later on. Hey, what's up guys? So we are at the end of this video. So I had to read 4 books for this episode of Alphabet Escapades. Our letter this time was A. Authors with a last name starting with A. So the first book that I read was Bunny by Mona Awad. I listened to this on audio. This book, I still don't know what to think of this book. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I don't think I'm quite ready for this kind of weird girl horror yet. I'm still new enough to horror. I'm not used to a lot of the fever dreamy type of stuff yet. And I just don't think this one was fully, it was fine. I just don't think it was fully for me. And I don't think I'm quite ready for this kind of a read yet. Like I said, I thought it was fine. I wasn't really sure what to think of it by the end, so I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. I don't have my next book on hand because I have since left that one at my mom's house for her to read, but the next book that I picked up was The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. This one is a romance. It's a sports romance. He is a professional football player and she is a ballerina. She was going to go to Juilliard and then an accident happened and now she teaches ballet instead. And I really enjoyed that book. I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was really, really cute. And it was perfect. After reading Bunny and having the craziness of Bunny, it was nice to kind of take a step back and read just a chill, easy romance book. I thought it was really, really sweet. It is a best friends to lovers kind of a thing. And I thought it was really sweet. I liked their relationship. I liked that they were both so concerned with their relationship and what having more progression in their relationship would mean for their friendship. I really liked that. So I really enjoyed that book. I gave it 4.5 stars. The next book that I picked up was The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. This one was fantastic. I gave this 5 stars on vibes alone. This one had the perfect atmosphere. It was eerie and creepy. It was campy. It was lakeside cabins and murder and some paranormal stuff. And it was just great. I had a great time. And I loved this. I have read from Kelly Armstrong before, but it was in a totally different sense. It was a historical time travel mystery that I read from her in the past. And then picking up this one, I loved it. I thought the atmosphere was great. Honestly, for a thriller, I didn't think that the twists and turns were super twisty like what I normally look for in a thriller, but the atmosphere in this was 100% there. It was perfect. So I ended up giving this one 5 stars, which is the first 5-star thriller I've had in I don't even know how long. So very, very psyched about that. Last but not least, I ended up picking up one that I've had on my shelves for quite a while. It is part of a romance series, which I did not realize until after the fact, but I ended up picking up The Only Purple House in Town. So this is book 4 in the Fix It Witches series by Anne Aguirre, and I haven't read any of the other books. I thought this was a standalone, and I'm giving this one 3.5 stars. So I didn't really talk to you about this one at all. I just ended up starting it and reading it. So this one is about this girl, Iris, who inherits her great aunt's house, who she only met her a few times. But Iris is in a kind of rut because she is late on her rent, so she owes back rent, and she just cannot make ends meet, make anything work out for her. Just really in a rut. She's really stuck. And she inherits this house from her great aunt, and so she decides that she'll move in and she will take some roommates in as well. She'll let people rent some rooms, and she ends up getting kind of a found family group who have the ability or the want to try and help her kind of fix up the house in exchange for a lowered rental amount. And she kind of creates this family. One of the people in that family is this guy, Eli. Eli Reese is my issue with this book. I thought the house was really cute. I thought the renovations were good. I thought the found family was good. Eli Reese was my issue. So Eli Reese was a guy who he was back in town to help his grandmother fix up her house and sell it because she was going to move down to, I think it was Arizona. And it just so happens that Eli knew Iris when they were in elementary school. Iris stood up for Eli being bullied, and he never forgot it. She had dropped a bracelet. He's held onto the bracelet for the last like 20 years, and he stalks her on social media, basically, because what it is that he will check up on her on social media about once a month, every month, for years, and was keeping tabs on her and following up on her. And it didn't make it out to be a super creepy thing, but it kind of was. It was kind of weird. It was kind of a bit much. And he goes, well, I mean, other people will check up on people, but at the same time, like, she didn't really know who he was, and he barely knew her. It was just, she did a kind act for him a lot of years ago, and then he kind of got obsessed with her. So he's one of the roommates. So take that as you will. It is definitely a big part of this book. I thought this one was fine. I thought that the fixing of the house was cute. I thought that the found family aspect was cute. It just wasn't all there for me, and maybe it is because it's the 4th book in the series and I haven't read any of the others. I'm not going to read any of the others, most likely. I don't really care to. But overall, I thought this was just fine. So I gave this like 3.5 stars. It won't be staying on my shelves, but it wasn't a bad read. So overall, I did read all 4 books, a little bit longer than what I originally planned on it taking, but I did get through 4 books. So I had these ones plus the cheat sheet by Sarah Adams. So I finally read Bunny. So we got a 5-star, we got a 4.5 star, we got a couple of 3.5 stars. So we had a little bit of a mixed bag here. But have you read any of these? Let me know what you thought of Bunny. Are you one of them that absolutely love Bunny? Because I know a lot of people do. Or are you kind of like me that we were just not so sure about it and you kind of only gave it 3 stars? I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out with me for a little bit, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.